Waterford. So I was unemployed, which is, I had nothing to do, so I started writing stories, and kind of local stories, based on local newspapers. So Waterford Whispers is kind of like a local newspaper that has just kind of gone international, which I'll show you now. I'm going to have to press buttons, which is going to be awkward. This might work, guys. No, you can't see it. Oh, yeah. So, can you see that? Yeah. You can. So, that's our readership a year. So, like 16 million readers a year, which is not bad, I suppose. There's a breakdown there. United Kingdom, Ireland is our second most read country. So we have United Kingdom, Ireland, United States, kind of broke down. Then the rest is all Canada, Netherlands, Germany. I won't bore you too much with this. We're the most engaged publisher in Ireland by a mile. Look, you can't see it there, but that's us. We're massive. We're so big. We're bigger than Joe Dally, which is great. Revenue. I just want to get through all the boring stuff first. Revenue. How do we make our money? We do native advertising. Are you familiar with native advertising? Where we would have a brand in a story. So that one there is the Lotto. So the recent Lotto, they came to us for an article, and that's kind of how we make our money. We would sometimes do articles. That's for Lions Tea, and that's for Meteor. That's outside Stephen's Green Shopping Centre. So that's kind of how that's our book. We make money from the book as well. That's some guy with a bag in his head. I don't know who he is. And we have #1 books. So we do a bit of work as well with different brands. Like we come up with ideas for Paddy Power. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they're a gambling site. Legal shit. This might interest you. The nature of Waterford Whispers. I mean, we cut close to the bone sometimes, and we run into trouble a lot with legal issues, especially at the start when I kind of didn't know what I was doing. So we've got numerous legal letters, as you can see there. That's from Colgate. Recently we did a story. Colgate released white supremacist toothpaste, and what we had on it was the little KKK guy there, and so that was a legal letter from them. So we get quite a lot of that, apparently. Here's another one. This one's from, who's that for? There's so many. I've only picked 5 out. That's from, God, I can't see it there. Someone else. Dennis O'Brien. Dennis O'Brien is, he's this billionaire guy, right? And we're constantly on his case. So I did a story. Dennis O'Brien receives 20-year jail sentence for a mobile phone license bribe in parallel universe. I got sued for this, or nearly got sued. So he sent me a cease and desist letter. And you can see him here, look. I used an image of John Gilligan. You know John Gilligan, who's used to be a Dublin criminal. So I basically photoshopped Dennis's head on that. And that's what kind of pissed Dennis off. And he sent us the letter, so we had to take it down. That went all over the news. And there was a big, there's the letter there, Mars Solicitors. So it was all over the news. Justine McCarthy done stories on it. Collins Kicks writer, what's her name? Fiona Loomy. And then my friend in Cyanide and Happiness, he made me this. So it was a big kind of thing. There was a lot of support for me when he tried to. So there's the picture. He told us to take it down. So of course we had to take an apology out for John Killigan the next day. So we apologized to John for using his photograph. And John took it well anyway. So this is funny, right? This morning, that whole thing happened, I think it was 2016. And last week I did a story, Court rules Dennis O'Brien hasn't a good name to protect. And the idea was that he's in the court so many times, like the judge was like, hey, dude, like, you're always in here. How are you always in here? You mustn't have a good name. So I did that last week, and this morning he sent, you know, the image that was there. See that image where Dennis O'Brien's beside Digicel? I bought that from a photo sharing site. You know, you have to buy the photos. And this morning I got an email saying I have to stop using those photos. So Dennis went to the photo place and said, make sure that my photos are never used again. And they sent that on to me this morning. So the guy, he's obviously, you know, tapped. So WWN makes the news. So this is kind of how a lot of times we get taken up as real, which happens nearly every day at this stage. You know, it's ridiculous. And some of the stuff. So Jerry wrote this one: dozens injured in stampede after second checkout in Lidl opens. So if you go into Lidl, you know that it's just always one guy there, and the other guy's down at the end of the store doing something. So someone opens the second till. There was a stampede, and 300 people were killed. That was taken up by a German newspaper. A German newspaper took that up. Focus is one of the biggest German magazines in Germany, and they thought that was real, which is great. So the CEO of Lidl came to Ireland and said, he actually quoted us and said, we don't to have that ever happen again. And he addressed the whole of Lidl, all the area managers of Lidl, with the article, and read out the whole article in front of them. So that was great. Here's one. What's that one? Oh yeah, that's the Daily Mail, of course. Sure, that's satire itself. The Daily Mail. Another one. There's John Waters. So I wrote a story that in the marriage referendum, the yes obviously won, and John Waters is John Waters, as everyone knows. But also at that time, Uganda, obviously, you know, it's illegal to be homosexual in Uganda. So I had a story: John Waters moves to Uganda, and that was all over the news. Here's another one: Ryan Tuberty found dead inside. And that's based on an interview with Cuban Gooding Jr. back in 2016 or that one. But yeah, this was all over the papers. Tuberty's daughter actually thought it was real, and that was probably a bad thing. But she had to text him to see if he was still alive. Which I don't know if she found if he is or not. And there's Dave Fanning giving out about it. Oh, that's awful bad stuff. Don't do that again. There's John Waters. Yeah, that's John Waters. I put that slide in the right place. Someone on Facebook fell for satirical claiming the Spire was robbed. So I did an article that members of the travelling community stole the Spire, and they used it for scrap metal. But people took that as real. In India, no, there was no Grammar Nazi parade in Berlin. Thank you. This is an Indian website. So in India, for about a week, everyone thought it was a Grammar Nazi parade that I wrote about, and it wasn't real. This one is Carl's one, which is, did Kylie Jenner get a boob job? Why am I paid to write about this shite? So people actually thought someone was having a mental break. So that story, if you read the story, is really good, because he really does sound like a writer who's been worked to the bone. And maybe there's something in that I have to address. Yeah, so the Poke, actually, it was meant to be satire, funny site, took that up as real as well, which is great to fool another fooler page, I suppose. I don't know if you know where the English always kind of claim the Irish, so they always claim Conor McGregor is British or whatever. So I said, fuck it, I'll turn it on its head and say that Kate Winslet, the Irish actress Kate Winslet, wins the Golden Globe. So they weren't happy about that. That done an awful lot of damage. North Korea lands first ever man on the sun, confirms Central News Agency. That was the first viral hit I've ever had. That had like something like 4 million page views. It was all, CNN took it up as real. Live Link. What's that one where all the dead people? Live Leak. And then yeah, loads of sites anyway took it up as real. Yeah, so we have a habit of doing it. This is my favourite one. Jesus not coming back by the looks of it, admits Vatican. This one, I still get emails from this one. And there was actually pastors in the US, and the videos are taken down now because they've been just bombarded. Oh, that's Waterford Whispers, that's Waterford Whispers. But there was videos of a pastor in the US addressing a whole sermon of like 200 people, reading out my article, going, WWN says, you know, and he's reading out the article, Jesus may have been drunk at the time when he made the promise of coming back, you know. So I'm not going to play that, but that's another pastor, that's another video.
But the Vatican says, yeah,
Okay.
Jesus isn't coming back. Wow. Okay, now you have to understand, this was Cardinal Giorgio Salvatore, and what a Pope. But he's someone very close to the Pope. Cardinal Giorgio Salvatore told reporters that Jesus may have been drinking, maybe from the Last Supper with his disciples, when he uttered the statements of his return. He rationalized that people make promises they can't keep when they're drunk. Really, Cardinal Giorgio Salvatore? Wow. He told WWN that this year's 1,981st anniversary is to be the Vatican's last in regards to waiting for the Lord's return.
Yeah, so there was lots of them. It was like, at the time there was like, geez, about 10 different pastors, and I was getting emails from everywhere. How can you prove this? It's lies. Politicians have a habit of mentioning us. We are the most read website, apart from Facebook, in the Dáil. So that'll tell you something. Right? Newstalk reported that. So from knitting advice to Waterford Whispers News. So apart from Facebook, we're the second most visited site in the Dáil. I'm sure we're probably the first at this stage. That's a couple of years old. So we get lots of mentions. I don't know if you read Waterford Whispers, Paul Murphy Tells Pascal Donoghue, but they had a really good headline last week. Government confirm intention to use Brexit as an excuse for everything. Which is true, that's what they're doing, There's another one. Taoiseach takes a shot at Mary Lou and says she constantly talks about Fine Gael's relationship with the rich. He says he read in the Irish Independent, he thought it was a Waterford Whispers at first. So yeah, we're part of the establishment, unfortunately. Here's Brodiker when he was health minister. These 5 IRA atrocities will make you feel so old. For him to share that, for him to share that now, even if he'd done that now, he'd be in right trouble. So he would. Galway TD, yeah. So we got a lot of TDs trying to be cool and mentioning us and stuff. Here's one I'm proud of. Here's probably Charlie Hebdo. The whole, getting shot and stuff, our compadres over in France. So they got killed, and there was a big march on in Paris, and there was a Jewish newspaper at the time who decided to take out all the women, an Orthodox Jewish newspaper, decided to Photoshop all the women out of the march, and basically they were on the street like that. So I said I'd turn it on its head and Photoshop out all the men, leaving only 3 women in a group of like 100 people. So that kind of made a statement. So we got a bit of praise for that from the Washington Post. So that's the original picture. But obviously they're all men. You get it. Weird mails, not mails, but emails. US police appeal to public to stop filming them shooting black people. Now, there's a picture, she was giving out about a picture. This was the state attorney in America, and we didn't take it down anyway. We'd never comply, never backed on. Castleknock unveiled plaque at site where Colin Farrell first fingered some young one. Now, why I have this up is there was a name in it, right? And there was a name of a guy. Just say his name was Pat Lyons or whatever. But Pat Lyons, it was a woman, Patricia Lyons, And that's where, and we have this in the show where there's a plaque and everything. But there was a guy from Castleknock who sent me an email and he went, "Oh my God, that's the name of my wife. I'm getting married on Saturday. She lives right around the corner from where the story is. Is there any chance you could just change the name on the article?" So we did. We had to, you know. So that was funny. Gavin Jennings, he's some kind of RTE guy. We did a story, Dublin man to slowly ease himself back into productivity by around June. And then Gavin Jennings, who's an RTE presenter, we used the name Gavin Jennings in the article, not knowing who the fuck Gavin Jennings is. Kindly change the name or take it down. So, you know. The Techno Viking. I said, where are you now? I've done this mad story about the Techno Viking. And again, another guy asked me to take his picture down. I bought this from Shutterstock. And this guy sold his image to Shutterstock. And he learned a lesson that day because I made him the Techno Viking. And he was getting hassled as well. My friends could tell, yeah, so, yeah, you don't want to see that. My favourite stories, I'm just going to go through these quickly. Thousands of British refugees make dangerous journey across the Irish Sea. Go find your own shit. Fed up Saint Anthony steps down. That one. Oh yeah, I actually want to be eaten. Local cow hits back at vegans. Radical rush to hospital after suspected contact with a member of the working class. And no side to tirelessly campaign for vulnerable children from now on. That's after the referendum, so that's, yeah. So I'm not going to bore you. Israeli soldier awarded medal for bravery after being hit by pebble. It's true. I've had thousands of people murdered. What's your point? That's the Saudi prince there after murdering a journalist. Yeah, so we can be quite close to the bone. You know, compensation for 9/11 families to be included in all future Saudi arms deals. So we did quite biting satire. And of course this one's lately, just give us the fucking oil. Trump calls for calm in Venezuela. So that's... You know, there was a video I was going to leave you with. And it's basically, a newly discovered tribe of Healy Rays has been found in the Ring of Kerry. And this is the video. This is from our live show.
Giant flat caps of fishing instead of camping around to be pulled up with the waist. This is the first ones of our undiscovered tribe of Healy Rays. These images captured their electric habitat. Following yesterday's final local interpreter for the ancient Healy Ray dialect traveled to the region in an attempt to make contact with the new undiscovered tribe.
So the ones over here, the lower anyway.
Yeah.
They're coming as absurd to the ones with fat cats.
What did they say? Following a detailed mapping of the area, researchers discovered an intricate pothole-free road system, along with what appears to be 8 pubs. Despite a population of only 50 tribesmen living there, joining the outskirts of the village, McCauley finds something truly extraordinary. As you can see, there are interpreters all on brown envelopes. What's on the bottom of it containing more? With one look like Marathon's melon turned out to put something true, not significant. It was put on altar and in exchange for brethren words concerning him what to do as a favor. Trust has been made. The choice not to operate a work bartering system, providing only pink snacks, Guinness, and the availability of records, and trying to reward the human race for family Dublin tribes. This is Bill Bagwell, Waterford Whispers News in Kerry.
So that's it. So this year we had a live show. We were bringing out a podcast. So the live shows are on in May and June. podcast live show, and Bill, that's my character. I'm going to be running for the European elections as an alt-right man, which I can't wait to do. That's me. Thanks a million. I love it. Thank you. It's an honour to get this. And thanks for coming, all of you.
What we'd like to do is a very quick Q&A session. So to start us off, I actually have a few questions of my own. And thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful. Fantastic to hear so much of kind of the history and the highlights of your kind of 10 years now. That's crazy. So obviously you've attracted a lot of controversy through some of the headlines that you've made in the past, and tackling figures like Dennis O'Brien and Colgate. Is that something that you ever feel tempted to shy away from, or is that something that you're more inclined to run towards now?
Well, with Dennis, it's more run towards. With Colgate, it's run away. Obviously, a lot of our money and our revenue is dependent on brands and stuff. So we do a lot of things with Lions Tea, and so we kind of have to dance a bit around the line. But from shying away, I mean, we wouldn't shy away from too much, you know. We would tackle everything from religion to, very deep issues in life even. So, yeah, I like the challenge. I have the lads, I have two other writers, so there's myself, Carl Moylan, and Jerry McBride, and the three of us, we're quite different, you know. I'd be quite wild with the writing. So Carl would be kind of the conscience. He'd tell where the line is, more so than I would. I have a good scope on it, but Carl is pretty good at, seeing the outside in kind of thing. And Jerry is very funny. He's got a very good wit. He's a stand-up comedian as well, copywriter. So between the three of us, we just love what we do, and I think each one of us, if there's a story that is maybe we shouldn't cover that, we'd always challenge each other, and we would have headlines off, so we would see who would come up with the best headline or whatever good headline. So yeah, there's a bit of competition inside as well, but no, it's not really shying away from, apart from brand stuff like Colgate.
And I suppose not to ask too kind of difficult or deep a question, but what do you feel the function, I guess, of satire is in modern politics? Do you think it's entertainment, or do you think it also makes people think?
Well, we hope that it's just to educate people and give a different light to the news stories, because most news is, owned by people, and people won't always tell you the truth. So I suppose our job is to, if we see a news story, we like to call bullshit on things all the time, and we do that with all, every subject. I think there's more truth in what we do than a lot more publications, and that, we quite cherish that, we do have a say, and we do kind of show people, look, that's wrong, have a look at that, another angle. And we're really into that, we love satire, and we love how it, it's evolved. 10 years ago, 2009, only for Facebook we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here, and it's the same. We're in a conglomerate now of 6-7 different satire sites in Europe. So we have The Spelled in Holland, and we have Der Stillion in Germany, and it's we're all together, and we all have the same kind of goal, which is to show up the news, to show up the publications and stuff.
Fantastic.
Oh, here I am.
Yeah, I know. We've been live streaming this whole time. So hello if you're watching online. And I guess, I know you were telling me a bit about Bill Body earlier, but maybe for people here who don't know about Bill Body, could you tell us a bit more about that?
So Bill is he's that character. If you could see that, he's the kind of running character who does the field reports. But we've decided to run him for the European elections. But run him as a kind of Peter Casey type, mixed with Gemma O'Doherty, mixed with every other politician in the country. But he's control alt-right. He's so alt-right, he's control alt-right. And some of his policies, we're looking at a one-child policy for Ireland. We're also looking at to ban all farm machinery from the roads. because Bill's car keeps getting dirty. He drives a Porsche 911, and every time he goes out on the road, the car's filthy. So he just wants to ban tractors. He wants to ban cyclists off country roads, and he wants to put an NCT tax and insurance on cyclists. So Bill is like, he's a populist, but he's a populist that everyone hates. He's kind of, he's Peter Casey, but better spoken, I think. You know, he's not as dittery and pathetic. Yeah, so we're going to run in and we're going to do a campaign, the whole shebang, and we're going full hog. So we're going to start doing weekly videos. And if you can't, check out the Build Bad Body European elections page. It's just, we did the one on the farmers, and just look at that post. There's 5,000 comments of pure gold. And it's just the most beautiful part of Ireland you could ever read. Just read the comments, because it's beautiful. You know. It's good crack.
And is that something, I guess, that you like try to see the kind of responses?
Yeah. It's not all about the response. I mean, obviously, I'm coming from the country. I'd have a lot of respect for farmers, but you know, and then there's a part of me that's kind of like, yeah, Bill could be right here, you know, because you know everyone in the country's sick of cleaning their cars, you know. But no, I love it. Yeah, I love the comments. I love reading them. I love people getting fooled. I'm constantly hiding people, telling the other people, oh, this is satire, don't fall for this. So all you'll see is, if you look through the thread, you'll just see all these mad comments. I've had 11 death threats. I started Bill's page 4 weeks ago, and in the first week I had 11 death threats from farmers. Actual death threats, were going to kill me, and they sent me messages of vile abuse, which it's just hilarious. I love it. They're very creative in their ways they're going to kill you, you know. Yeah, so I'll release all that after the campaign, but the way it's going now, we have 3 months of this, and Bill's campaign is just going to do it again.
Well, what I might do is I might open up to the floor if you have any questions. Samir?
Yeah, what's the format of the podcast?
The podcast, then, it's a 10-minute news bulletin, so it's more kind of tone-wise Radio 1. You know, we've a great actor called Peter Hanley, who he does a lot of kind of professional news. He works for NOAA, or news over audio, but it's so well done, the voice, and you know, it sounds real, but obviously the content is satirical and it's funny as well. So we have like different segments with sport, business, traffic news, that kind of thing. So it's just a quick 10-minute bulletin, and we hopefully going to get a sponsor and do that every week, because podcasts are the thing now, apparently. You know, everyone wants to do a podcast. So we've been hounded by like so many sales agencies. Got to do a podcast. So for the last year, we were busy with the show. The live show is brilliant. We've done Vicar Street. We packed out Vicar Street. Great reviews from that. So it's kind of a shortened down version. Podcast is a shortened down version of the live show. More or less the same kind of news format. You know. Yeah.
What were your
I'd no kind of goal for it, because I was unemployed, and I was just doing it for the crack. So you know, I was only doing it on my own. I only started up Facebook myself in 2009, and shortly after starting up the account, I just started writing. I was bored. Like the crash just happened, and I moved from Dublin to Waterford, of all places, and Waterford was really hit bad with the crash. Like, I mean, it was like 70% unemployment at one stage. Everyone was unemployed, so I had nothing to do. So I just started writing these ridiculous stories, and then everyone was saying you need to set up a page, and that took about 3 years before it really took off. You know, just one good story I did about Michelle Obama calling all Irish people ugly. She was over, and that story took off. That was my first viral kind of story in 2012. And then the North Korean one, which you seen there, that just blew up. And that's when the site just went from, 10,000 likes to 50,000. I mean, just started growing from there. Then I hired on 2 writers and turned it into a business with the help of the social welfare they give you a back to work scheme, so they pay you for the first 2 years and they give you a grant and stuff. So that was great. It was broke, only for them and Facebook over here.
I was just a question about, like, the way you see news sites taking what you put and believing it and publishing it as your, like, why do you think it's what you're publishing has become so far-reaching, and why it's become so believable in other countries?
Well, again, that goes back to kind of Facebook and its algorithm. Like, if you look at other publications and you look at their engagement rates, like, I showed you the stats there, we're massive in terms of engagement, but it seems like funny news or satire news or even fake news gets shared a lot more easily. It used to anyway, it doesn't anymore, but back in the day, like 3 or 4 years ago, people just, it's the engagement, people find it funny and they share it. And the thing is, people go, that's actually believable, so they'll share it and say nothing. I think that's part of the process of, someone will get cut off, they'll read it and go, ah, Jesus, this is fake, and then they'll go, oh, fuck it, I'll share this as well. And that's kind of the attitude towards it, But obviously we're brilliant writers, I think that's probably why they're sharing it, We're absolutely the best in the world.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Which is your
Favorite death threat? There was a guy from Amsterdam on the Bill Badbody page, and he was a farmer. He was a big, massive industrial farmer, and his profile picture was a big combine harvester. This is 2 weeks ago, and he said it was just the way he articulated the thing. I was impressed by the death threat, But then I was more impressed at the fact that he had his employer's name under his own name. So in reply, I went, oh, thanks for supporting the page, thanks for supporting Bill and messaging. Oh, I see you work for this crowd. What would they think of your death threat? And his tone just totally changed. He realised then he was in trouble because, his employer was under his name on Facebook, and his death threat, he sent me a death threat, and I sent it back to him. I said, oh no, I'm sorry, and he started apologising, and then I felt sorry for him. I said, look, I'm not going to, in future, don't send death threats if you have your employer's name underneath your name. So that was the best thing, for sure. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Like, I'm curious about all the death threats. With the death threats, lots of charity and stuff, with lots of satire under on extra comedy, what do you see the main challenges for it in the coming years?
Well, the problem is, like, with Trump, the arrival of him, he brought in this whole fake news phenomenon, and and the Russia thing and whatever. And fake news obviously is a problem. It is. It's not like it's not real. It is real. The fake news that the vicious stuff about the anti-vaxxers and Hillary's, Bill Clinton's paedophile ring and all that kind of stuff. All this kind of misinformation. With what we do, our initial worry was being cast under that umbrella of fake news, because at that time, 2 years ago, Facebook was like, right, we're cutting out all fake news. And it wasn't clear, was satire included that, and we were quite worried. So that's why we kind of set up this conglomerate with all the European partners, so the Germans and the Dutch and the Spanish and the Italians, and we got together last year, like a crisis meeting. It was like a crisis meeting. We're like, oh shit, our reach was cut in half. So what Facebook did was we used to have 4 million readers every month, and that's gone down in half. That's cut in half because of Facebook's changes to the algorithm. What we've also noticed is that our stories don't go viral in the States anymore, whereas the States used to be our top readership. We had 4 million readers. 2006, we had 16 million readers in total, and the top 4.7 million of them were from the US. Now this year, we have very little in the US, so Facebook is going in and it's purposely cutting us. They're cutting down everything, so that's a pain in the ass. But we're climbing back, Yeah, so fake news, the emergence of this fake news kind of crackdown is kind of hurt us a bit. But, that's why we're going into the live show where, we're progressing. We're not doing so much. We're still doing the site, but we need other avenues to pay ourselves, because it's quite hard to, obviously with the content, it's quite hard to monetize. You know, brands are like, oh, we want cheeky, and then they're like, oh, that's cheeky, oh, it's a bit too cheeky. Yeah, so there's a bit of that, you know. Yeah.
Any questions? Oh, sorry.
What's your favourite satire besides
My German lads, they're Castilian, they're brilliant. They're a huge site at the moment. They're like they're as big as the Onion, you know, in Germany. I was never a fan of the Onion, you know. That was people say, "Oh, you're like the Onion." I wasn't. You know, I would have read 2 or 3 Onion articles, I think, when I started up Whispers. I was more into like the video stuff, like the Day to Day, Chris Morris, and the old kind of English satire and Irish satire. So that's kind of where I kind of, you know, that was my influence. That kind of Alan Partridge. That kind of,
Sure.
If you're library on the science area, what do you think is moved from satire in comics and more series?
Oh, he's brilliant. Like, I mean, I'd be quite friendly with him. You know, he that was our first book. So in that book, he endorsed it. You know, his name was on it, called us Gas Bastards or whatever. And he was always very supportive of us, and he would always share stuff. You know, when we were starting out, because he had quite a big platform. He still does, a massive platform now. It's even bigger. But yeah, no, I love what he's doing. He still does satire. I understand it's hard to keep doing the gigs like they were doing. You know, the songs. I loved their live show, Spoilin' Ivan. I loved Spastic Hawk, were my favourite videos. Spastic Hawk. He's brilliant guy. He's a really good guy as well. He's really down to earth. The podcasts. I haven't listened to many of them. I listened to 1 or 2, and it's so well structured. You know, he puts a lot of thought into it. You know, and he is educating a generation. You know, his generation. You know, which is great. And I think Ireland there was a big vacuum there for that kind of thing. He's doing well. He's flying podcasts. You know, apart from not being able to get advertisers now and then, but his live podcasts. If you go to Electric Picnic or Body and Soul or any of them, go see him. They're quite interesting. You know, they always have good guests on. So, who was the interview that? I can't remember. But he gets great guests in. You know, just mad people. Like Dave or Blind Boy.
We might just take if there's one more question. Anyone? Oh yeah, the pressure's on. Nobody has any questions. Yeah. Yeah?
Do you have any inspiration from like content comedians, like on the website for comedians that buy into satire? Not buy into satire, but when you're writing satire, are you inspired by it?
I like Stuart Lee. I like his stuff because he kind of satirizes the whole, you know, comedian thing. You know, he basically satirizes being a comedian. I loved Bill Hicks, George Carlin, been a big influence. All them kind of kooky guys. Basically that's it on that. Yeah, Billy Connolly. Yeah, my dad's from Glasgow, so I grew up listening to Billy Connolly. They would be the main influences.
So I think that might wrap us up. Thank you so much
Thank
for coming.
you.
It's such a pleasure to have
Thanks very much.